Hello, Ira. I thought you'd like to see what's inside your steering gearbox, because I have not had one of these where I could just grab the input shaft and turn it like that. That's pretty loose and pretty amazing, and it's really grindy inside. I thought maybe you might enjoy seeing what's inside. And anybody else that might happen to be watching the video. It'll be a little bit lengthy because I'm going to do this in real time, and I don't think it'll be boring, but it's just going to be just mostly watching. I get that one out of the way so that I can use the impact and get that nut on there. Well, by the way, while we're here, this has a piston inside, or a sleeve inside with a spring, and what it does is it pushes puts tension on the big shaft coming out the bottom of the steering box. This thing right here. People think that's an adjustment, but no, it's not an adjustment. It is simply a big spring that pushes down on the shaft to keep it from bouncing up and down. And it's the distance right here is preset at according to the shop manual. You just dial it in and lock it down, and that's what you're supposed to do. It is not an adjustment. Screwing that in will not adjust anything in the steering gearbox. It will make your life more difficult, is what it will do. Okay. And this is supposed to be packed with grease because it does not get any lubrication from the steering gearbox itself. The only lubrication it gets is grease, so it should be packed with grease inside here. And it was at one time. You can see the remnants of the grease. Here's the piston. So these get cleaned up, and then we'll get greased on the assembly. So now let's take care of all these other. Well, I just might as well do it like the professionals. Alright, these go in the dunk tank, get them cleaned up. You got a awful lot of something in there. I don't know what that is. That's not 90 weight gear oil. That's some serious sludge. I don't know how you get sludge in something that doesn't have combustion going on inside there. And that is really, really gritty sludge. So I won't even put that in the dunk tank. I'm gonna wipe that out before it goes in the tank and contaminates my cleaning solution. Do that later on. All right, let's see what we got in the way of oil. Okay, so we got a fair amount of oil in there. So I'm going to take, this is the boring part. I don't have a pause feature on this, so I'm going to take this out and dump the oil. And I have to leave the camera running, so go ahead and go grab a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Come back to get some paper towels to clean up the greasy mess. Alright, while the box drains, I'm going to clean off the sector shaft, get it degreased so we can check clearances. For our purposes, this is clean enough. We'll be able to check clearances. Right there. It's remember on the bottom here is index. See that hash mark? And let me get this cleaned off here. You can see it. Okay, you can see this hash mark right here. The line right there, that line lines up with a similar line on the arm that goes on the bottom of the steering gearbox. And since this thing's so dirty we can't see the line, but it's underneath the grease and dirt there. And anyway, that line, the two lines line up with each other. Now I'm going to go get the box. My best guess is somebody put grease in this thing instead of 90 weight to try to make it to where it would function. It would tighten it up a little bit. That's not the way to do things. Alright, so next we're going to remove the seal at the bottom. Clean it out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Like beforehand, I usually like to try to read what seal size it is before I destroy the seal. All right. 30, 47. 30 by 40 by 7. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is going to be a tough one. They're not supposed to be in there that difficult. You're not under pressure. You're not holding pressure. Jesus Christ. Okay. There we go. Doing this so we get a clear shot at checking our clearance between our bearings and our bushing and our shaft right here. So next up we are going to remove the worm. Which requires the biggest wrench I got. This screw right here sets the preload on the tapered roller bearings. You got a seal in there. Alright, so now let's knock the worm out. Now we got to take this part off here. There's almost no flats on here, so I found that the easiest thing to do is put it in the vise and grab a hold of it. Twist. Son of a bitch. It's not supposed to be in there like you're building the Eiffel Tower. Oh, this isn't fair. That isn't fair. Jesus Christ, people. There's a seal inside here. There's the seal. Pull it out of there. All right, now, gonna get the worm out of there. Bearings coming out the other side. Tapered roller bearing. So we keep those together. And then we move this so we can get this out. Go. That is going to get cleaned up and rebuilt. Now, let's take a look inside there. What do I need to do? I need to change gloves. These are way too greasy and nasty. Let's take a look inside. And why the heck have we got all this sludge in here? I'll never know. Here's the other tapered roller bearing. Look at that sludge and gunk. I mean, it's not just supposed to be oil. Anyway, what we're going to do is clean up this bushing right here and see what how much slop we've got on these between the bushing and the sector shaft. Put some gloves on. Now the clearance between these bushings and the shaft is 3/10,000ths of an inch. Human hair is 2/1000ths of an inch, so we have some really, really tight clearances that we're supposed to maintain. So let's put this shaft in here and see what we got. So you can move it back and forth and you can hear it clicking back and forth. Can you hear that knock? There you go. And I get this thing that's rattling over here. There you go, you can hear that. Anyway, new bushings. Gonna check the journals here, make sure they're in good shape, and if not, get those machined. And take it a step at a time. And then we're going to use this Tobin ARP machine. Let me get my hands clean so I can handle of the camera. Now we're going to use the Tobin ARP machine, which is an amazing piece of equipment, and it's so precise. See that right there? It says 0.0001. That is 1/10,000th of an inch. Each one of those marks is in increments of 10,000ths of an inch, and that is how precise this machine is. Just absolutely amazing. So next up, clean the steering gearbox, and put it on the machine the bushings, and rock and roll.